Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I was watching one of Lee's videos over at Inside the Distance Boxing. If you haven't subscribed to that channel, you're missing out, because not only is Lee a great guy, he does some great videos. He doesn't do many videos, but when he does, they're always food for thought and get you thinking. And he really knows his stuff. He knows what he's looking at, you know. And he made a very, very astute point, which has kind of inspired this video. So I'm kind of pinching his idea a little bit. He was saying about CHRIS EUBANK Jr. and the fact that, now I didn't watch that Piers Morgan interview. Lee did. Lee has obviously got a stronger stomach than I have. I think we agree that Mr. Morgan is absolutely loathsome in the extreme, and always has been, you know, photo doctoring, phone tapping, police bribing twat. But, you know, the sort of incarnation of the tabloid, or the personification of the tabloid hack, repulsive individual. So I didn't watch the little bun fight that Eubank Jr. and Ben had on Morgan's show. But from the clips I've seen little, 30-second clips, a minute clips. And from what Lee was saying in his video, Eubank was sort of claiming the moral high ground and saying that, look, Ben is a drugs cheat. And then I think he referenced, Eubank, this is referenced, the Nick Blackwell incident where Blackwell was not operated on following his fight with Eubank Jr. He was kept in a medically induced coma, recovered, and then stupidly went sparring again, which he was not allowed to do. He had his license suspended and so on. But he did some sparring. He ended up having to actually have an brain operation. So indirectly, Eubank was responsible for Nick Blackwell's, whatever his current status is, health-wise. I think he is walking. He slurs his words. There's clearly his speech has been impaired. And he looked like, the last time I saw him, he looked like he'd put on a lot of weight, probably due to inactivity. But he's still alive and he is still, I believe, mobile. But nevertheless, it's a harrowing thing for any fighter to go through. So when Eubank mentioned that as an example of why he finds Ben, how he perceives it as being Ben being a drugs cheat, and how Eubank is so repulsed by him, you can sort of say, well, yeah, I get it. If Ben knew what was in his system, or if people around him knew what was in his system, or if you're going to take the view that Ben, the buck stops with the fighter and they've got to know exactly what's going into their body, regardless of whether they even understand exactly what PEDs are or how they might be ingested and so on. Nevertheless, if you have that view, yeah, you can understand Eubank's outrage. However, and this was the point Lee made very well, I thought, Eubank, when you consider his conduct, does not really have the right to claim the moral high ground. Now, let's go back to 2020? I'm losing track. Is it 2022 or 2023? When the original 2023, wasn't it? The original fight was 2022. The original fight was going to happen. Eubank was told that Ben had failed a test. There was some sort of indiscrepancy. And he was prepared to fight Ben anyway for extra money. Likewise, he's now saying that Ben is so repulsive, so awful, and yet he's fighting him. He's allowing Ben to make astronomical amounts of money, and he himself is making money out of a drugs cheat. Now, how can you claim to be Snow White, to have that moral high ground, when you yourself are behaving in a manner which basically enables a drugs cheat to carry on with his career, and not just that, but to make large amounts of money? One assumes millions. Because either you're a professional who has what CHRIS EUBANK Jr.'s father would call the warrior's code, or you're a prostitute and you'll do anything because someone's bunging you a few quid. And it seems to me that CHRIS EUBANK is cut from the Floyd Mayweather, money is everything cloth. You know, he has a McLaren and he bleats about how much his jacket cost. Even when he was asked about the egg, how did you smuggle the egg into the press conference, the one he hit Conor Benn with, he said, well, you know, I can't remember the name. He had some fucking designer jacket on that probably cost him a few grand, but, you know, well, the quality's so wonderful, and, you know, this is the quality of I don't know, it's Louis Vuitton or whatever it was, Gucky. So all these fucking designer things, they're all bullshit to me. But he was bleating about how great this jacket was, you know. And there was one, I think originally back in 2022, when he turned up for the press conference with Ben, he had some ridiculous brown jacket on, looked like a fucking big stitched together out of a set of luggage. It's fucking ridiculous. And there he is, you know, showing it off like, you know, the guy loves money and he plays poker and it's all about money, 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 money. Okay, if that's your gig, you're a prostitute, clearly, because you'll say, yes, morally, Conor Benn is, you know, vile and disgusting and a cheat and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'll make some money out of it. And you know what? I don't really mind if he makes some money as well. If he makes lots of money, who cares about him? So you're actually giving someone who you claim to detest an opportunity to make vast amounts of money, even though you acknowledge that he shouldn't even be in boxing. Well, if he shouldn't even be in boxing, if he should have been banned for life or whatever, what the fuck are you fighting him for? You know, and people will say, well, there's a big payday. Yeah, I know. That's my point. There's a big payday on the table. But you can't have both. You can't have the moral high ground and continue to make vast amounts of money out of what you seem to scathingly refer to as corruption, as cheating. Okay? So I find this hypocrisy, and that's really what it is, really quite ugly. And I've been very critical of Conor Benn. I even made a video saying, Christ, Conor Benn gets on my nerves, because he does. You know, he's immature. And look, hey, when I was his age, I was off the chart immature. I mean, I cringe when I think about myself. So before we can be mature, we have to be immature. Before we can be wise, we have to be ignorant. You know, that's just the way life is. When life don't come with a handbook, you know, it doesn't come with none of us are born wise. We're not born intellectuals. We're not born with, you know, the ability to see nuanced thought or nuanced reason or debate. And we have to mature as we go through life. And Conor Benn strikes me as being mature, and the whole, you know, gangster wannabe thing that he seems to want people to believe he is. It just doesn't interest me. You know, maybe it's a different generation thing. I don't know. So I'm not a big Conor Benn fan. And I do think, oddly enough, that what Eubank has said about Ben, an awful lot of it holds water. It's just coming out of someone who is therefore prepared to shelve all of that morality in order for a big fat payday. Again, you can't have it both. You either have a set of morals. It's like, I'm a vegetarian, all right? I don't believe in killing animals for food, all right? That's my belief. Now, if I was to say, I think it's wrong to kill animals for food, it's disgusting, it's disgraceful, you're a disgrace for eating meat. But do you eat meat? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course I do, yeah. Yeah, but I still think it's disgusting. What would you call me? You'd call me a fucking hypocrite, quite rightly so. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I think it's wrong to, you know, I think child abuse is terrible. I think people that batter their kids should be put in prison. And there you are at home slapping your kids around. What are you? You're a hypocrite. Okay. I smell hypocrisy with CHRIS EUBANK Jr. Quite a stench of it, to be honest with you. And I think this is why I've no real interest in this fight anyway. I mean, I will cover it, I will watch it, but I've always thought of it, and I've said this from the word go, from 3 years ago, it's a gimmick fight. They're put together because of their names. One's a welterweight, one's a middleweight. You know, it's a cash grab. That's all it is. And it doesn't interest me, the fight. I'll watch it. It might be a good fight. I hope it is. I'm delighted when I'm proven wrong and something's a good fight that I thought was going to be either a mismatch or just dull or anticlimactic. But no, I mean, I don't have a horse in this race. They're very, very contrasting characters, Ben and Eubank. But I'm not siding with either one of them. Although I have to say, when in the presence of Piers Morgan, they both looked absolutely wonderful. What an arsehole that guy is. I hate Piers Morgan. It's not hate. It's not even hate. I don't respect him enough to hate him. It's more like contempt. Yeah, repulsive little individual. There you are. I feel about Piers Morgan how CHRIS EUBANK Jr. claims to feel about Conor Benn, but that's another story. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think I've made some valid points? Do you think I'm whistling Dixie? Do you half agree with me? Leave your comments below. And just to repeat, go over to Inside the Distance Boxing and give Lee a sub as well, because he deserves it. We want to get him to 1,000 subscribers. It's a really good channel. And of course, if you're new to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.